Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series where we normally look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. However, today we have a very special event. Today we are going to be exploring the prologue to the next season of Power Rangers, known as the Zeo Serials. These are short clips that were played after reruns of the Alien Ranger episodes prior to Zeo's premiere, giving some insight into what was coming up next for the world of Power Rangers. It should be noted that these serials are not canon with the TV show at all, as most things are explained differently anyways, but I still think it's a cool way to look at something that the show made in preparation for the 4th season of the franchise. We start with a guy driving a car listening to the radio, saying that scientists have discovered something new coming toward Earth. We then see this man going into a lab. Then the man enters, meeting with a woman who refers to him as Dr. Jewel, and she thanks him for coming on such short notice. Then, on the moon, Rita and Zed celebrate their win from the end of Mighty Morphin, talking about how they're the masters of evil. However, they then start to argue over who actually owns the Earth, and Rita goes to look at something on Earth, and she sees something, screaming, "It can't be!" This is when we finally see a shape being made, an oval. Rita is very sad about whatever it is that she saw, and she starts to tell Zed about it, but he ignores her, saying that she's going crazy. However, if she really saw what she thinks she saw, she's going to get upset. Zed asks what it is that she saw, and he demands answers, so Zed looks for himself, seeing machines. He screams, "Mondo? No!" Rita then tells him that they have got to get out of the Moon Palace. She tells Finster to start packing, but Zed says that no, they're not leaving. And Rita exclaims how Zed saw the Quadrifighters, giving us the name to that machine. Rita says that she's not going to stick around to find out whether or not they're coming this way. Then another shape is made, 2 skinny ovals. We catch back up at the lab where Dr. Jewel meets with the woman again. Her name is Dr. Kenneth, and they're observing an unusual disturbance in the Earth's atmosphere, and she hypothesizes meteor activity, but Dr. Jewel says that might not be it. Then things start to flash in front of them, and they see that something has broken through the Earth's atmosphere. Then Dr. Kenneth asks what's in Dr. Jewel's briefcase, and he takes out a folder that says, "Top Secret." He gives it to her, saying how it's very distressing. She opens it, and after she looks at whatever it is, another shape is made, a triangle. We find out that they are photographs taken from the space telescope, and it's a photo of a large ship. They agree they only have to fear if there's more of them. Meanwhile, we see above that there are indeed a lot more of them, like way more of them. A janitor is cleaning a lab and he's listening to the news, and we find out that things have gone very quiet for a few weeks. People assume that the Power Rangers have returned to their distant planet. The janitor then looks through a telescope, seeing a quadrifighter, and as the news tells anyone with a tip about the whereabouts for the Power Rangers or anything, call them at 555 whatever. The custodian grabs the phone. Outside, the custodian and the news reporter stand, and the custodian is interviewed, telling the reporter how he saw things that were really shiny and going very fast. He said it looked like it was coming this way, and then the Dr. Jewel and Dr. Kenneth come out of the lab behind a crowd. The custodian says that they're the ones to ask to confirm what he saw, as we see another shape, a rectangle. On a TV at the youth center, the reporter is interviewing Dr. Kenneth and Dr. Jewel, and he says how they were the first to see the alien spaceship in question, and of course, this makes Bulk and Skull's ears perk up immediately. Dr. Kenneth then says they never said it was an alien spaceship, and they can't discuss it because the information is classified, which leads to the reporter saying that it must be a secret alien spaceship. Bulk and Skull then get the idea that if they bring an alien to Lieutenant Stone, they'll get medals. Meanwhile, Stone is behind them watching this, and after they call him a slave driver, they run into him. Then Stone takes them out to the field, and he tells them to find the aliens for him then, if they're so confident, or else they're gonna have to clean toilets with a Q-tip. Seriously. Then we see yet another shape being formed, a 5-pointed star. Bulk and Skull are searching with binoculars, saying that they'll be very aware, and of course they fall asleep just as a quadrifighter flies overhead. Then we see robotic villains watching them sleep on their base, and they talk about how if humans are this dumb, this will be super easy for them. They refer to themselves as the Machine Empire. Meanwhile, Dr. Kenneth and Dr. Jewel are still being interviewed, and they say that it's too soon to tell if these space aliens are peaceful or not. But Dr. Kenneth says that they will have to wait to see their intentions. Now, all 5 previous shapes that we've seen are being cut out of a slab. Bulk and Skull wake up, seeing a spaceship petrified. They get up screaming and running away in a panic. They're still running through the field, deciding they need to act fast when suddenly Skull yells, "Look!" pointing. Then they check over a hill, seeing robotic foot soldiers marching, deciding that these are the aliens. They start to leave, finding something and screaming, but it just turns out to be that they just found Stone. He wants to know why they weren't at their post, and Stone believes them because of the aliens that are behind them, firing at them. At the youth center, Ernie tells Bulk and Skull to calm down because he's mopping the floor. They end up telling them that they saw the aliens, and Ernie clearly does not believe them at all, and now a logo is starting to come into formation. Then they keep telling Ernie about these aliens, and Ernie says that he's not going to believe it until the governor comes on and confirms it. Of course, right away, the television shows the governor making a special announcement. Ernie screams at everyone to shut up because the governor is declaring an official state of emergency because an armada of hostile alien ships are heading toward Earth. Everyone starts screaming in terror, and the governor says that their efforts to contact the Power Rangers have been unsuccessful, which causes Ernie to faint. Then Bulk, Skull, and Ernie talk about how Bulk and Skull were right all along, and they're terrified of the aliens. The governor then issues a plea to the Power Rangers, begging for them to come save them. Now we see the logo electrify to show the words Power and Rangers. The robotic aliens are watching this news report in their ship, and they discuss how they're shocked how easily the Earthlings are scared simply by them coming near them. They say that the Power Rangers can't do anything, whoever they are, because he vows that all will bow down before him, referring to himself as King Mondo. On the ships, Mondo talks to his queen, explaining how they're going to take this planet, and then they'll be able to say they've conquered everything. They're waiting on the Quadrifighters to return, who were surveilling the Earth. At the youth center, Stone, Bulk, and Skull are packing emergency kits, and Ernie laments how with the Power Rangers gone, hope seems to be lost for Earth. Stone says that if they're out there, they better hurry. Time is running out. Now we see the completed logo. Power Rangers Zeo. On the moon, Zed demands that Finster come and update him, and they know that Mondo is coming toward them, and Zed wants to stay in his ground, but Finster tells him that it might be pointless since Mondo is so strong, but Zed insists. Mondo then sees something from a ship referring to his wife as Machina. He sees Rita and Zed, and the two are pissed off that they're even there, and they say that they're going to get rid of Rita and Zed easily so that they can conquer the Earth. To be continued in Power Rangers Zeo. Man, oh man, it's such a shame this isn't actually canon to the series. Seriously, this was insanely awesome setup for the new season of Power Rangers called Power Rangers Zeo. It shows that the world knows that the Power Rangers aren't even around anymore, and they're desperate for help while a new evil, the Machine Empire with King Mondo and Queen Machina, have come to Earth. It also shows that they've been surveilling the Earth and they want to get rid of Rita and Zed immediately in order to take the Earth for themselves. This was one of the coolest and best ways the show has ever hyped the next part of its story with sneak peeks into the future like this. I mean, the build-up between the stories with the shapes and then revealing the logo is absolutely phenomenal, and it actually makes me ecstatic to start watching Power Rangers Zeo. So next time we will begin the official 4th season of Power Rangers Zeo. But until then, may the power protect you.